I'm Aaron Burciaga. I'm currently the Chief Technology Officer at Analytics2Go, which is an analytics services, consultancy, and software company. Previously was the Vice President of Data Science and Artificial Intelligence at Booz Allen. Before that was the Global Platform for Analytics Lead at Accenture. And part of that was with was with Elder Research. And before that, 12 years active duty Marine Corps officer, leading the analytics program in the Pentagon. So when I graduated the Naval Academy, I came out with exposure and experience in some moderate programming languages, engineering principles. And when I became a battalion logistics officer, we were faced with problems of overstocked battery inventories, hazardous materials, petroleum, oil, and lubricants. Moreover, when I deployed to Iraq, running the convoys through Fallujah, as well as trying to optimize how and when we had assault support requests, I actually threw those things into a calculator. I threw them in a spreadsheet with some basic VBA. And unbeknownst to me, I was optimizing and causing us to do things very differently. Drew down stocks of inventories by millions of dollars of batteries and ammunition, as well as had our convoys run at different times and in different ways at night, along with assault support requests. In some ways I say, I've killed people with my calculator. I literally have in Iraq and Afghanistan, but candidly, at the preservation of other life and driving other efficiencies. So I come home and had received some awards, and they said, "You've done operations research." And I said, "Well, I'm not a doctor. I have no idea what you mean." And they sent me to the Naval Postgraduate School, where I kind of felt like I stepped into the matrix, saw that what I was doing was a very immature and young way of approaching some of these problems, was taught Kung Fu, was taught how to pick up and do better things with higher power tools and higher order thinking, and then had the opportunity to go to the Pentagon, where I led the activity, met Informs, met other societies, met great peers, mentors, and friends, and it's been a rodeo since then. That's great. Actually, I have my own favorite definition. I don't have it memorized, but I would define analytics as searching for patterns using computational and scientific methods to develop insights for what has happened, what could happen, and what should happen. Being Chief Technology Officer of an analytics company is exciting. So it's interesting. I had wanted to be potentially a Chief Analytics Officer, and I kind of had that opportunity at Booz Allen, being the Vice President for Data Science and AI. When this opportunity came along to be the Chief Technology Officer, what they do and what I will be doing at Analytics2Go is developing the platform, as well as developing the people, as well as setting the chart and the roadmap for the products that we deliver. I'll be working with one of my great friends who's the Chief Analytics Officer. He and I are both operations research AI generalists, being able to work with him, make sure that he and his team have the technologies they need, as well as he and his team are growing in the way that they should. So I'll be setting very much a trajectory for the products, services that we develop. I'll tell you what, I'll give you three or so. Our favorite Informs experience was taking the CAP exam. I was very worried about whether I had passed. I think this was 2013 or 2014, whether or not I had passed. I remember walking out of that exam, having taken every bleeding second to complete it and really not knowing. And I think that's the best way to leave an exam, right? So when I found out that I had passed, I was thrilled. Another friend of mine, Alan Briggs, also passed the same day. But we were happy with where we could go from there. And that's opened up so many doors, from not only being an early certified analyst professional to now being on the analytics certification board. Many favorite memories have come as being on the board of the CAP and working with great folks like Jim Williams and Jack Levis and others, Polly Mitchell Guthrie. That's one favorite experience. Another favorite experience is I remember that when I was very young, joining Informs, I had submitted an abstract to the analytic conference. Just was blown away by my first experience in Huntington Beach. Wanted very much to brief, and I wasn't selected. I was told that I probably wasn't likely to be selected. I remember being a little bit ornery. I called Melissa. I said, "Really? I'm military. You don't have anybody from the military presenting. I think I should be there." And I think that call, that passion, that desire, as well as with a credible thing to say, led me to being an invited speaker at the Business Analytics Conference. And those things on your resume are meaningful and impactful and important going forward. So there are two early things. And I'll say just even yesterday, Winning the Freestyle OR Supreme, really what Carrie did require different synapses in my brain to operate. The way in which I was able to coach my team towards winning was by helping those younger professionals follow an analytic method, follow the Certified Analyst Professional domains. We briefed out domain 1, 2, and 3, and we stopped because that's exactly where we would get before we began running the POC and developing the minimum viable product. That's not something that I've just done for the win of the OR Freestyle Supreme, but it's something that I've also done in my consulting world. I've shared with non-informed members that same Socratic, that same analytic, that same CAP method. And then giving my whole team little shiny unicorn pins to wear was cute. Read and educate yourself as much as possible. 2, share what you've learned and codify it with social media and with other forms that you can get that content out there by writing, even articles. And then 3, network and attend those those professional societies. Well, as a Marine officer for 12 years, I've been blessed with 3 daughters. So I have my interests, first and foremost, are absolutely my daughters. Learning to not be so terrified of things like glitter and rainbows and unicorns. Secondly, I love to lift and I love to run. So every single day, I'm up between 4:30 and 5, and I run to the gym. And if I do not get that hour and a half to 2 hours in, I'm a different animal, and so that helps me train. So I very much am a little bit of a fitness enthusiast. And last but not least, I'm very involved with a group called TAPS, which is Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. So I've been involved with them since 2010 as well. I've been a mentor as well as a group leader. So it's for the surviving widows as well as children of fallen servicemen and women, and I help them work through their grief as well as be like a big brother, big sister, a big brother to them. So typical weekend, I'm getting up, I'm running to the gym first thing. My Saturdays are no different really than a work day. And as soon as I roll back home, it's breakfast with the family, and then I'm rushing out to 2 or 3 soccer games. After the soccer games are done, it's coming home, cutting the grass, doing yard work, doing home improvement, watching a movie with the kids, and putting them in bed before we get ready for church services the next day.